Dear students of 11 and 12 classes, welcome to our online class. You know that you are talking about right form of verbs and the use of modal auxiliaries. And this is our second class on this issue. You know that we discussed modal auxiliaries, their characteristics, and many things about modal auxiliaries in our previous class. We learned that modal auxiliaries are also called modal auxiliary verbs. These are used to indicate modality. That is, modal auxiliaries facilitate the main verbs for suggesting modality, that is probability or likelihood, willingness, capacity or capability, expectation, necessity, order, advice, etc. We also learned that modal auxiliaries never change their form or tense. That is, there is only one form of these verbs. As they cannot be changed, that is, they never change their form. So the question arises, can't we use them in different tenses? The answer is yes, of course, we can use them in different tenses. But how? I will explain this straight. That is, today's discussion will focus only on the use of modal auxiliaries in different tenses. Let's start. Modal auxiliaries can be used to indicate present continuous tense. That is, present modal continuous. Number one, present modal continuous. How can we use modal auxiliaries in present modal, in present continuous form? Simply remember the formula. Shall, will, or may, or can, or must plus be plus ing. Very simple formula. That is, when you want to use modal auxiliaries in continuous, in present continuous tense, you have to use this formula. That is, put modal auxiliary at first. Among these modal auxiliaries, that is either shall, will, may, can, or must. Any of these 5 modal you can use, and then you should add a be, and then of course ing. That is, modal auxiliaries, these 5, any of these modal auxiliaries plus be plus ing form of main verbs. In this way, you can use modal auxiliaries as in present modal. So let me explain through examples. Examples are like this: as you have been here for a long time, your students must be waiting for you. Number one example. And number two, as the whole house is calm and quiet, the children may be sleeping. I have given two examples here. Just notice here, maybe. This is structure. This is the example. This is the formula I have put here. That is modal, present modal continuous arrives here. May. Modal auxiliary. This is the modal. Modal. One of the modals I wrote here. May plus be plus main verb plus ing. So, present modal, the formula of present continuous, present modal continuous is modal plus be plus ing. And here also, as you have been here for a long time, your students must be. Here is the present modal continuous. Your students must be. Here must modal plus be plus ing. So, you can understand from these examples. And when should we use modal, this type of a formula or a structure, present modal continuous structure? When you are not sure whether the subject will be in the middle of an action or planning to take an action in future. When you are not sure whether the subject is in the middle of an action or is planning, the subject is planning to take an action in future. However, the action is possible or necessary or likely that the subject is or will. So, we need to understand the function or the situation or the context in which we are to use or we can use this formula or this structure, that is present modal continuous. When, notice here, as you have been here for a long time, your students must be waiting for you. So, what is the situation here? That is you. Your students must be waiting for you. You should notice here. Your students must be waiting for you. Why do you say this? What is the basis of your guess? You are making some guess here. You are guessing something, but you have the basis of your guess. This guess is not something baseless. The basis of your guess is this sentence. That is, yes, you have been here for a long time. So, this is possible that your students must be waiting for you. Suppose you are a teacher and you are just you are gossiping with your friends, and one of your friends is reminding you that as you have been here with us for a long time and you are a teacher, you have classes in your school, so please you should not forget that your students may be waiting for you. So, when do we use this type of modal auxiliaries? When Uh, when you are not sure, are you sure that the students are waiting? You are not sure, but you are making some guess, and you have the basis of your guess. This is the basis. That is, as you have been waiting here out of the campus for a long time, so it is possible that your students may be waiting for you. So when do we use this type of structure? Again, look at the second example. As the whole house is calm and quiet, the children may be sleeping. Here, you are doing this guess. You are guessing that the children are sleeping. And what is the basis of your guess? That is, all the whole house is calm and quiet. If the children, you have made a guess that if the children did not sleep, then the house would not be so much calm and quiet. As the whole house is calm and quiet, no noise or no indiscipline and no need and bustle at all in the house. This is the basis of your hypothesis, of your guess, of your assumption. So you are saying that the children may be sleeping, and this is possible or likely, and that is why we are saying that we can use or we should use present modal continuous when you are not sure. You are not sure in both these two sentence clauses. You are not sure whether, you are not quite sure actually whether the students are waiting or not, but maybe or possible. And in the same case, in the example, second example, the children may be sleeping. This may be, but you are not sure. And that is why we say that we should use present modal continuous when you are not sure whether the subject is doing an action or in the middle of an action right now, or he or she is planning to take an action in future. But this is possible or this is likely to happen, these sentences. So you have to make some guess here. That is, actually these are the guesses, and these clauses are the basis of your guesses. So though you express some guesses in this type of structures, you have the strong basis for your guess. Okay. Then we can also use past modal continuous. Number 2, structured with modal auxiliaries. Past modal continuous, and let me explain through examples. Past modal continuous. Let me give examples first. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. Number 1 example. Number 2, if or as Lisa had been absent in today's examination she might be visiting her hubby, her ailing hubby in the hospital. I have given two examples here. Just notice here, she might be visiting. Here we have used past modal continuous. When we use past modal continuous, then what should be the formula? Just simply remember, a past modal continuous, the formula is, let me write down here, within bracket, the formula, the simple formula of past modal continuous is to oblique would oblique might oblique would plus be plus ing. This is the simple formula of past modal. That is, you are to use any of these four modals, that is either should or would or might or could, then add a be and of course an ing. So this is the simple formula of past modal continuous: should or would or might or could plus be plus ing. And when should we use this structure or this model? When, in the same case as we have already mentioned in the case of present modal continuous, that is when you were not sure, whether the subject would be in the middle of an action or he or she would be planning to take the action in future in the past, but the action is likely or possible that he or she was or would. We should use past modal continuous in this stage. Just I am trying to explain this idea, the context in which we are to use this formula, this structure. Just look at the examples. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. This happens in the past. Yes, Lisa had been absent in today's exam. This happened in the past. And here you are again making some guess. And now the basis of your guess is this past clause. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. If you did not leave, I would still be taking care of you. Here would, then be, and then taking. That is modal plus be plus, of course, and ing. Main verb plus ing. And then, as Lisa had been absent, in today's exam, that is, Lisa is not appearing. She is not sitting for today's exam. Suddenly, she is absent from exam. So, you are making some guess. What is your guess? She might be visiting her ailing hubby in the hospital. Hubby means husband. So, as Lisa is absent from today's exam, so as her husband is sick, maybe he is seriously injured and admitted in the hospital, so she might be visiting her baby Habib in the hospital. Anyway, just you can simply keep in mind that after in active voice, I am just summing up. Just remember, when there is a modal auxiliary and then B, if this happens in case of an active sentence, active voice, not in passive, because we are to use this type of, almost this type of structure in passive sentences of course. So, we should be careful. We should at first try to understand whether the sentence is active or passive forms. When the sentence is an active form, then if you find that there is any of the modal auxiliaries, then you must use the ing form of main verbs. This is the system. If you forget every other thing regarding today's discussion, then just simply remember that whenever there is an active sentence using modal auxiliaries and then then you must use the ing form of main verbs. And our target is to use the correct form of verbs. So, even if you forget the structures, these formulas, then this is enough that you can, if you can remember, if you can keep in mind that whenever there is any of the modal auxiliaries plus B, and if it happens in the case of an active sentence, then you must use ing form of main verbs. This is the system. Okay, there is another structure for modal auxiliaries, and I am going to explain that structure also. And that is past. Past model, simple past model. Number 3. This is the third structure for modal auxiliaries. Simple past or simple model, simple past model. That is, as we have already learned that modal auxiliaries never change their form and tense. So, how can we use them in past form? We can use them in past forms in simple past tense very easy. Just remember, we have to use one of the modal auxiliaries, then one of the modal auxiliaries along with have, and of course past participle form of main verbs. That is, you have to use, when you want to use the modal auxiliaries, any of the modal auxiliaries in simple past tense or in past tense, you have to use have after modal, any of the modal auxiliaries plus have plus of course the past participle form of main verbs. Then you will be able to use the modals in past form without changing their form, as one of the distinguishing features of modal auxiliaries is that they never change their form and tense, and that is why we have to keep them always unchanged, and we have to follow different types of strategies. Just bypassing their present form or unchanged forms, we have to use them in different form of tenses, and we are doing this, trying to do this today. So, what is the simple formula? That is modal auxiliaries plus have plus past participle form of main verbs. Modal auxiliaries plus have plus past participle form of main verbs. This is the simple past modal. That is any of the modal auxiliaries we discussed in our first class. That the total number of modal auxiliary is 10, and some say, grammarians say that no, 15, and some others say that no, their total number is 18. Anyway, so we have some idea about how many modal auxiliaries are there and which of those, as we discussed them in our first class. And now, modal auxiliaries, that is shall, should, will, can, could, may, might, must, any of the modal auxiliaries then have then past participle form of main verbs. Let me clarify few examples. John should have helped Julie. John should have helped Julia. What is here? Should have. As should is modal auxiliary, it is unchanged. Always. In first sentence they are formed. And then we have used have, as we have said that if we want to use modal auxiliary in the past form, we have to use have after modal auxiliary. Always have, never have. Should have is have, and then past participle form of main verbs, as we have mentioned here. Ed, help, past participle is have. So this is the formula, simple formula. That is, John should have helped Julia. Obligation in the past. It expresses obligation in the past, not in present. So very simple. That is, if you want to use modal auxiliaries in the past tense, you have to use have after any of the modal auxiliaries, and then usually and traditionally and of course obligatorily you have to use the past participle form of main verbs, as have always takes the past participle form of main verbs. So John should have helped. So this is the structure here: modal auxiliary plus have plus past participle form of main verbs. And then let me give another example. Alex would have lent you some money. Capability or ability in the past, not in present. So Alex could have, here notice here, could have lent, could modal auxiliary, and you have added have here after modal auxiliary, so it has become the past form of modal auxiliary. And then you have used lent, as we are to use the past participle form of main verbs after have. So lent here, lend, the past form is lent, lend, the opposite of borrow, some loan. So Alex could have lent you some money. It expresses ability in the past. So we have got three structures of modal auxiliaries. So how can we sum up, dear students? We have learned that one of the distinguishing features of modal auxiliaries is that they never change their form or tenses, but keeping them unchanged, keeping their form unchanged, we can use them in different tenses, and minimum in 3 cases we have explained their use from the point of view of tenses. We have got today 3 structures, that is modal, present modal continuous, past modal continuous, and simple past modal. Dear students, I hope you have been benefited by our discussion, and modal auxiliary is very interesting. So continue practicing. Thank you very much for joining me live.